Welcome back to the Live Your Best Life podcast, where we explore the people, experiences, and philosophies shaping success and meaning in today's world. Building a business takes more than a good idea. It takes conviction, resilience, and the willingness to take a leap of faith. Today, I'm joined by Mike Terenzi, the man behind the Terenzi Agency in Washington, Michigan. We talk about the experiences that shaped him growing up, the decision to start his own business, and the passions that continue to drive him both personally and professionally. Some of the best lessons come from taking the first step. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Live Your Best Life podcast. Today we have Mike Terenzi Jr., and we're going to talk about his agency, the Terenzi Agency. We're going to get into life insurance and maybe some things that you guys should think about or maybe update when it comes towards beneficiaries or making sure that you have the right insurance for you and your family. But before we get into any of this, I just want to welcome Mike to the show today. Appreciate you being here.
I'm excited to be here. Appreciate it.
Well, good. And Mike goes way back. We've known Mike for many years now. Obviously, friendship started through his parents, who are clients of ours. Mm-hmm. But getting to know you over the years, Mike, besides being a good golfer and winning, I think, our Strategic Wealth golf outing several times that you guys have actually been in the actual event. I think, what was like 2 out of 3 years, I think you guys won it?
I think so. Great event every year.
He's like, yeah, it might have been 3 out of 4.
No. I know the first one for sure when we had that first one out at Boulder Point. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, we're heading back there now, so I think you guys were the last champions there, so you guys got a little bit of home field advantage there.
Hopefully.
But before we get into it, one, just kind of want to get to know you and you know, where you grew up and a little bit about your family as well.
Yeah, grew up in East Point. Born and raised down in East Point. My parents were from the St. Clair Shores area, so they didn't venture too far away. Awesome childhood. Grew up down the street from my uncle and my cousins, so always out and about, playing sports, riding bikes, whatever it was. Got one sister. Both are 2 years apart, so super close growing up, still super close to this day.
You older or younger?
I am older, 2 years older.
Okay.
So, but yeah, grew up in East Point, all through middle school, went to, East Point schools. And then for high school, I went to De La Salle for high school. My dad, my older cousin went there, so my dad wanted to send me out there for school and sports. So great experience, great school. Still in touch with guys from East Detroit and from De La Salle. So it was awesome to expand the friends group for life.
Yeah, a lot of people that we know go to or have gone to De La Salle. And Brandon, one of our advisors, his grandfather actually teaches there still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to find out who it is and see if I had him for class or not.
Because he's been there for a while, so you may have.
Good possibility.
Now, did you play sports there? Or?
I played football and baseball there. Yep.
Okay.
And then 1 year of roller hockey when they first started the roller hockey team out there. So,
I didn't even know they had roller hockey there.
I don't know if they do anymore. That was kind of right in the boom when indoor roller hockey was getting really big in the area. So that was my freshman year there. We played roller hockey.
Okay.
And then that would just kind of stem from my childhood growing up. We played outdoor roller hockey, street hockey. Mm-hmm. And then East Point actually had one of the first outdoor roller hockey leagues, ball hockey, that I ever knew about. That was right when the California League started, where they were playing outdoors with the ramps behind the nets and stuff like that. Okay. So got to play there. And then we got to go out to San Diego for an NHL breakout tournament. So it was really cool.
For your roller hockey team?
For roller hockey, yeah.
Wow.
For ball hockey, roller with the ball. It started as what you do in a parking lot and ended up taking me and, probably 50 other kids out to San Diego to play.
That's really cool.
It was really cool experience.
I didn't even know that. And you did that in high school?
That would have been 8th grade. I went out and did that.
Really?
So they had teams all the way from, if I had to remember, from 6 years old to, we had adult leagues. My dad played in it with my uncles and stuff like that, and some of my older buddies. So played in it, reffed it. It was pretty much what we did all summer. If you weren't playing or reffing, you were up there playing pickup during the day. So it was awesome.
We played it in Cleveland because I grew up in Cleveland and played hockey myself, but we never had a league.
Yeah. I don't. A buddy of mine's dad just came up with the idea. They built the boards. It was started on 2 tennis courts.
Okay.
They split them in half and real small. And then one year they built a bigger sized rink at one of the other parks. And I mean, every night of the week it was 3 or 4 games were going on there. Lights on the rink, tournaments on the weekend. We played in a 24-hour game for the Guinness Book of World Records when I was in high school. Yeah,
your team was part of it.
Yeah, they formulated like 2 different divisions, and then you played like 4-hour shifts. And then we had tents pitched behind the rink, and we would go. We were supposed to go sleep, but everybody just kind of hung out and watched the other guys play. And 24 hours straight, there was hockey going on.
That's pretty neat because something I've learned about you just now.
Yeah. Still play hockey. Played roller hockey last year. Got back into it after about 6 or 7 years off, and then. A couple of my buddies I play golf with are trying to get me to back on the ice and play in an ice hockey league over at Fraser again. So
I think Enzo, are you over at Fraser?
Sometimes we're more Mount Clemens, but sometimes we play Fraser.
Nice.
Okay, I was gonna say Enzo's still playing, Jason's still playing downstairs.
Awesome.
We actually have quite a few clients in their 60s that are still playing.
The league that they're getting me in, my buddy runs it. They do a draft every year. You come out and they do a rate skate, so they rank you on your abilities, that kind of stuff. So no teams are stacked. It's pretty even across the board. And they got guys from their mid-20s to up, I think they said their oldest guy is 71 maybe.
Wow.
Takes a couple shifts, plays a bit, hangs out with the guys, and
has a couple cocktails afterwards.
Just enjoys playing. Just enjoys being out there still. So
that's really neat. I like that. Now, family-wise, married?
Married, wonderful wife, Katie. We have 1 son, Trip. He's 5, just turned 5 in May.
It's a fun age.
It's incredible. He's into everything. FIFA was huge, World Cup. Yeah. Guy had to go get the soccer ball. He's doing the airplane celebration through the living room. So it was really cool to see him get interested in that. We golfed together. We've had him on the course a couple times. Yeah. He would watch it with me when he was little, and then got him a set for the backyard, and it just keeps growing and growing his interest. My dad takes him out, on the par 3 course after work some days. So is
your dad the one that got you golfing?
Yes, my dad, and my grandpa. Yeah, I was probably 10 or 12. It was only allowed a couple times during the summer because I was a baseball guy. Yeah. So don't want to mess up the swing. Yeah, that was always my dad's thing. And then you talk to baseball players now, and they play all season. 10 or 12 probably. Hickory Hollow, Sunday mornings, my grandpa out there. And then as I got older, played a little bit more with them up north on the vacation trips. And then college is where I really team sports were done, and I just wanted something to do. And at Grand Valley, they have a great course on campus. So, it's $18 to walk 18 holes. It was the easiest way to get out in the day. And then my first job in college was at Dick's Sporting Goods. Ended up in the golf department, became really good buddies with the golf pro, and just became my, lack of a better term, my addiction after, team sports. It was what I did whenever I had free time, and just got really into it.
Okay. I think Tom, who graduated from Grand Valley, I think he played quite a bit on that course himself.
Awesome. It's a great course.
So do you think your son's going to take after you then, golf-wise? Or?
I hope he enjoys it and wants to keep playing. My wife always asks, are you going to take him out? I said, I'll take him as much as he wants. My dad was the same way. It was never you had to do something. It was, what do you want to do? Yeah. So growing up, I played soccer, basketball, baseball, hockey, football. It was just be active, do something, and then find what you're passionate and hopefully you're good at it as well. It makes it more enjoyable for you. So
I think that's the downfall of some of the athletes today. Like I'll use my nephew as an example. All he does is baseball. Yeah. Now, he's a great baseball player, don't get me wrong. But I think by not playing the other sports, you just become a better athlete.
I agree.
So I see, and it's very common that someone and the coaches too, they only want you to focus on one sport.
Yep.
I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was like Nolan Ryan or something like that. He said that's the downfall of the kids today.
Yep.
Is that even though they're incredible athletes, they could be that much better because of whether it's the lateral movement from football or whether it's this or that from a different sport that you could pick up. And you're just going to be a better all-around player no matter what sport you end up excelling at.
I agree. Every sport gives you a different aspect to one sport to get better at. I want to say it was Dustin Pedroia I was just listening to, and he said by the time he was, I want to say he was like 14 or so, he's like, I only played in 30-some baseball games. He's like, I only played in the city league. I didn't do, all year. He's like, I played basketball, whatever it was. Yeah, I was always doing something. He's like, I didn't play 40 baseball games a summer. He's like, we did other stuff. And I think it's important to develop all the other skills, like you're saying, the lateral, the hand-eye, whatever it might be, or just the team aspect, learning about yourself too.
I believe he was on that Red Sox team that won the World Series.
Yes.
Seemed so.
Panned out for him, I would say.
It worked out.
Those 30 games before the age of 14 worked out just fine for him. So.
Yeah. Well, growing up playing sports, like, did you want to own your own insurance business in the future, or how did that happen?
So oddly enough, golf led me to it. Golf has led me to more things than I would have ever imagined. So I was working at a software company, just doing account management. Always loved the idea of being a business owner. I got two uncles that are contractors, own their own business. My dad owned a side business, and it just always in seeing their flexibility and what they were able to do, I just love the idea of it. Going to college and coming out, though, you don't really know how to get to that point.
So you knew you wanted to be a business owner, you just didn't know what yet.
Exactly. Okay. Just wasn't sure how I was going to get to it. Did some work with my uncle in the contracting construction world, but, when your uncle and your cousin are in it, you don't really want to go against them.
Yeah.
So just kept trying to find something. And then I was playing in my dad's golf league, and was hanging out. It's where I actually met my wife. Okay. She worked at the golf course, was hanging out with her when we first started dating, sitting around the course, met some other guys after a round, started talking with them. They were insurance agents. Got good to know them pretty well. Yeah. And I was like, man, they get the golf when they want. They're doing... all right. Just got to hang out with them, was picking brains, asking questions. And they're like, what do you do? And I was like, account management. And they're like, it's you're basically a business owner without being one. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Sat down with them, put them through the ringer of questions. How do you do this? What's it look like? How do I get there? And one of them ended up offering me a job, said, come work with me for a couple years. Okay. I'll teach you the industry, the ways, and then, I know the path to agency ownership. So that was 2018, December of 2018. I left blindly, went and worked for them. And then they were doing great, real big agencies. We ended up opening a mortgage business on the side at the end of 2019. So I popped over there for a little bit of while, wanted to learn some more stuff while I was doing the insurance stuff. Mortgages took off in 2020. We got a little crazy. So focused on that pretty heavy 2020 through 2022. And then 23, we were still working out of his office as the mortgage company. So he was like, hey, remember what you came over here to do? You might want to relook at the contract. It's really good right now. So May of 23, I left the mortgage industry full time, still carry a license and can write them if I want to. Okay. And started my agency in May of 2023. We launched. So it's been 3 years. It's been awesome. Wouldn't change it.
And you guys are over at 26 Mile?
Yep, 26 in Mound, right before you get to Stony Creek.
On the north side of the street.
Yes, yep, right next to the 7-Eleven. So if you're ever getting a Slurpee, stop in,
it's
say
right
hello.
there.
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing to have a 7-Eleven right next door. It's a lot of nice Slurpees in the summer, but very easy to get snacks when you don't need them. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So when you decided to start the business, or actually when you left the software industry, you didn't know your wife yet.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got married in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that? Because you're going to your wife and telling her, hey, I've got a good job right now, making good money. Now all of a sudden I'm going to become a business owner.
Yeah, it was a lot of talks, a lot of conversations. I'm a numbers guy. So she was like, do the numbers make sense? I was like, they will. They will for sure. As long as I do this the way I think I can, they'll make sense. So she's like, I trust you. And I kind of told her I can always go back to, being an account manager for someone else.
Sure.
Never want to now. That's for sure.
The freedom that you have.
Yeah. And just
it's very rewarding.
Yes, it is. And I love what I do. Love talking with the people, working with people, helping people out. So yeah, it was a lot of conversations, a lot of late night Excel spreadsheets. Yeah, still is to this day. Definitely wouldn't be able to do it without her support.
I think the one thing that people don't understand that are not business owners is just that, I mean, everything's on your shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, myself, and we were actually talking about this the other day. It's like, hey, when I go to bed at night, I'm thinking about, I've got 14 other people that I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
Right. And, we have to be successful because we're responsible for them and their families as well. So it's great being a business owner, though. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like I said, for the last 20 plus years, I don't even consider that I actually am working because I enjoy what I'm doing so much.
Yeah, I agree. We got, I got 6 people that work directly for me, with me.
Yep.
I've known them all since I started in 2018. One of them actually trained me on how to use the systems when I started. So yeah, I completely agree. Going to bed at night being, all right, what do I got to do tomorrow to make sure everything keeps running?
Now, did you learn early on or did it take you later? Because like myself, of course, I was trying to do everything because I thought I could do everything better than everyone else. And then I realized I just got to hire someone who's better than me.
Yeah.
And that's their forte. And then just back out of the way and let them do it because they're going to do it better than me anyways.
Yep. I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
It's for sure
It's
something,
hard.
You hear on a lot of podcasts or books you read. It's tough. I'm a bit of a control freak, good and bad.
Sure.
So I've been trying to do that. I got 2 full-time great service people that handle all the policy changes, questions, that kind of stuff. They got 10 plus years of experience in both of them. And just being able to not have to worry about that side of the business and, just help them when needed has been incredible. It's helped me with the sales team, helping, answer their questions, train them a little more, get them the support they need. But I'm still trying to peel out a little bit more each day.
Yeah.
And, let them, take the reins a bit
Sure.
and switch to a different part of the business. There's just so many, like you've said, different parts you got to run, the payroll, the day-to-day stuff, just making sure the small stuff is locked up that, other people can't worry about because they're not the business owner.
But that allows you as the owner and the visionary to figure out where you're trying to get to and focus on the other things and let them handle the service work, which, there's special people that handle service.
100%.
There's special people that handle marketing, special people that handle, answering the phones to reception to everything, you know, and to each their own. But when you step away from that, it's kind of gratifying as well because that allows you to spend more time on some of the bigger things that you could really impact your business and your clients as well.
Yeah, I can't remember where I read it, but it was something like if you can step away from work for a week, not call, not touch anything, and you can come back and it's not a fire there's not a million fires you got to put out. You have the right people in place.
Sure.
And I will say April was the first time I fully experienced that. My wife and I got to go to Australia for a vacation. And we're 16 hours ahead. We got limited access to internet, email, just because of company VPNs and stuff. And I basically told the team, I'm shutting off. I'll answer when I can. And they were all like, do not email me. Do not call me. They were telling me to stay away.
Nice.
And when I came back, there was 0 issues.
Isn't
and it was
nice?
one of the best feelings ever.
Best feeling. I agree.
It was, I was proud of them the way they did it. And, and they forced me not to call them.
Yeah. You got the right team.
Yes, 100%.
I just watched a podcast, and I've got to actually send this podcast to you because it's for business owners.
Yeah.
But the gentleman, he has since changed that. So now it's like, hey, if you could step away for a week, right? But now what they're saying, as the owner and the founder of the company, you should be able to step away for 2 months without even thinking about business, answering an email, answering a text, getting a phone call from the office.
Man.
And he's like, not only that, but it'll extend your life because you get a chance to just sit back and just relax and clear your thoughts. You could start thinking about where the next chapter is going to be for the business itself. But I'm like, I'm not there yet.
No.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, that would be tough. And I think it might be because I just enjoy the day to day.
Yeah.
Maybe too much sometimes.
Sure.
But yeah, 2 months it sounds incredible. I just don't know how. That's
That
would
would be
love
tough.
to be able to get there someday, but
One day.
yeah,
So
for sure.
you are very competitive, I think,
Yeah,
at least on the golf course.
I'm competitive by nature.
And
for
most
sure.
business owners I know are very competitive.
Yes.
Otherwise, they don't take that risk, the risk that you took
Agreed.
to leave your current or your former job to be a business owner. Where do you get that competitiveness? And two, the other question would be like, who's had the biggest impact on your life?
Yeah, I think the competitiveness comes from growing up playing sports. You know, and my dad was a sports guy, so he kind of instilled that into me.
Okay.
You know, I love winning, but I hate losing more. And I think that's, you know, said by a lot of people. There's a lot to learn on both sides of winning and losing, and I think that's the important part. But if you're not competitive, if you're not going out there to win, I feel like you're not putting your whole heart into it. So it kind of, you know, just what are you doing it for then? At that point, you're doing it to appease someone else.
Sure.
If you're going out there to appease yourself and, you know, make yourself happy, I think you got to be competitive in pretty much anything you do.
So sometimes no participation trophies in the Terenzi family.
Nah, I told you know, my wife always gives me a hard time about it. I said he gets one from every first time thing he does.
Yeah.
After that, put them in a box as a memory. I still have a bunch of mine. My dad, kept all mine from when I was a kid. When they sold their house, they're like, hey, all these got to go. You got to take them somewhere. So I ended up taking the plaques off of all of them and donating the trophies back. So people will reuse them and stuff like that. So I do have all the ones I had from when I was a kid. But yeah, I feel like if you're going to go do something, you got to be competitive at it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full experience out of it and the full learning experience either.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My wife would get so mad at me because we'd be in a driveway playing basketball. My son is where he was growing up, and I would never let him win. I'd block his shot and I'd make him work for it.
Yeah.
And he'd go in the house, crying or whatever, or upset.
Yep.
And my wife was like, why don't you just let him win? I'm like, no, he's got to earn it.
Yeah.
Because the day that he beats me, it's going to mean more to him than anything else because he worked for that for so many years.
For sure. My dad was the same way. It was always a competitive game, whether it was basketball, playing catch, playing street hockey. It was never an easy game against him. Mini sticks in the house. It was, it was always, we were always going at it. Still do to this day. We play golf against each other. I'm a little bit better now, but I know damn well if he beats me, he's not going to let me hear the end of it. And I can't wait for when my son starts beating me. I got a couple of buddies that have kids that are high school aged, and his son just beat him. He goes, it was the worst and best day I've experienced on a golf course.
That's the way I would look at it, as worst and best day as well.
In a long time. It was pretty funny.
All right, so you've been in the insurance business for about longer than 3 years, but you're a business owner as 3 years.
Yes.
What are some of the ups and downs that you've experienced? You think over those 3 years?
Yep. I mean, anything, as the business owner, sales aspect, it's going to be the ups and downs of, what's the check look like next month? How's the team doing? Are we on track to produce what we need to produce to pay the bills to everybody to keep, growing and advancing? I would say that's probably the only thing I would ever miss about salary is what you're getting that month. The ups and downs are just trying to figure it out. Everyone's got their own ways of doing it. Everyone can give you advice in what they did, but figuring out what works best for you, I think is one of the toughest things because you don't know until something fails. And then when it fails, it's like, all right, that's not it. What about this route? And it's almost like you keep restarting. I won't say at zero, but you keep going back down and figuring out, all right, that wasn't it. Here's the path we need to take to get better. So that's probably the most fun and the toughest part about it is just figuring out the right way to do it to be successful.
Because there's multiple ways.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go on podcast or YouTube or look at some of these people that are out there talking about building businesses, they all have similar stories but different paths on getting there.
Yeah.
And it's not that one is right, one is wrong. They're all right because they've all gotten to be very successful. It's just a matter of which one works with me, which one works with my personality, which one is my team going to be able to respond better to as well.
Yep. And I think that one of the important things for me was learning how the team responds best. Because what might work better for me might not be the best option for my sales team. I might enjoy a certain style of it, when they excel in another way. But as long as we're excelling, we can always make it work whichever way is better. And the more I learn to pull out of the day-to-day and let them handle those things, the more I can tailor it for them to be successful. Because I'm not successful if they're not.
Absolutely.
So
we need our
I got to
team.
figure out what works best for the team.
You guys have them do any kind of like personality tests or anything?
You know, I feel like everyone's done them over the years. I never had them do them direct. Everyone on my staff is more family member to me. You know, like I said, the one girl trained me when I started. She had 2 years experience on me. You know, I would call her more of a sister than a staff. I hate when they refer to me as boss to their people. I'm like, I'm your friend. I don't like it. You trained me. I should be calling you boss almost. You know, you taught me the ropes before I expanded. One of my other teammates, I'm good buddies with her husband. We play golf together. She's like, oh, this is my boss, Mike. I was like, no, this is your friend, Mike. We work together. So anytime I introduce people to my staff, I just say, we work together.
Friends, or
I hate saying they work for me. It doesn't feel right to me. It feels too corporate for me.
And they work with me.
Yeah.
They don't work for me.
Exactly.
They're working with me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
We interact like family. We text on the side. We have group chats.
So the culture's there.
Yeah, 100%. The office culture is great.
You figured that out.
Yes. Yeah. I like to think we have. I would hope my team would say the same thing. But yeah, you know, it's been great to be able to not stress about who we've hired and who we have in place.
Well, think about that. I mean, you're at the office. I don't know. You're on the golf course too. But the time that we are in the office, we want to be able to be with people that we genuinely like and love.
Yeah.
You know, and want to do life with. Because life's way too short not to.
Yes, absolutely. I've been to staff's weddings. I've seen them have their first kid. They've seen me have my first kid. So that's what I think makes it. We've grown up together. You know, it makes it feel more family than it is staff. And they'll tell me to leave to go play golf. There'll be days they know I'll get an invite and I'll be like, no, gotta be here. And I'll get a text like, we got it. Go meet some more people, go network, give yourself some time. So, you know, I have my one standing league that I play in with my dad.
Yep.
Kind of my no break rule. Like that's mine and my dad's time to keep bonding and keep learning from him. But other times, you know, they're like, just go, you know, just go with a vendor, go with a networking group, just get out of the office. And I'm like, all right, you know,
I'll go.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, I'm like, I got this, and this, and they're like, it'll be there tomorrow.
We got it. Yeah.
Or we got it. Yeah. So they're awesome about that. A couple of them also golf as well, so they understand it. Or they have husbands that golf, so they know.
And a lot of times when you're golfing for business as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't think of a time I've been on a course that hasn't had a business conversation or a question or you know, some sort of aspect of it. Or you're just learning from other people that are. Most of them are business owners that are there. You know, if you're playing midday, odds are they're retired or they're a business owner or they're a retired business owner. So you can see what have they done to be successful and get where they ended up. You know,
it's a win-win.
Yeah,
corporate right into the business.
Yep.
Well, you might be a little bit upset. My team will tell me too. Like I had a chance. I don't know. It was probably about 3-4 months ago, and a buddy of mine called me up. He's like, "Hey, we donated to this charity, and we got to take 5 people down to Michael Jordan's course down in Florida."
I think you guys were telling me about this at the Porsche event.
I couldn't make it. And everyone was like, I'll go. And I was, unfortunately, couldn't just fill in for me. But that would have been. However, I think I told you too, there was a gentleman that was golfing there. And Michael was standing out by the first tee watching. And he shanked the ball, I guess. And so Michael said, just go ahead and play another ball. He shanked the next one. And Michael put his hand on his shoulder. He said, maybe you should wait this one out and sit into inside the the building and go have yourself a drink.
My goodness.
And that guy didn't get a golf. Can you imagine that?
No. I couldn't imagine hitting a golf ball in front of him.
Yeah, let alone
being told, get back in the clubhouse.
If I was there, I probably would have been put back in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I would have just picked up after the first one and be like, I'll just play from wherever that guy's ball went.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll keep it moving. Don't worry. That would be crazy. I couldn't imagine playing in front of someone like that. I've never played in front. I've played in front of one big crowd. I got to play a country club in Chicago with a buddy of mine. We drove there, met him there, straight to the tee box from the car from Grand Rapids to Chicago, and they had their member tournament and dinner that night. There was 500 people on the back patio.
Wow.
And the first tee box was right there. And I had never played in front of anyone but a foursome and I was just like, we don't get to warm up? He's like, nah, hit it forward. And I was like, oh my goodness. So that was the most nervous I've ever been.
I'd be nervous.
In front. Luckily, they were behind me, so they were relatively safe.
Okay.
So I said, as long as this ball goes up in the air and forward, I'm going to act like it was the best drive I've ever hit. So I hit it and just picked up the tee like it was right down the middle and hoped no one watched where it went. So,
oh, man, that's funny. Yeah. That would be a little nerve-wracking.
I don't know how those dudes hit it with the people.
I don't know either.
No way. No way.
Well, that's why they're pros.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So tell us a little bit about your business. Obviously, it's an insurance business. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do there.
Yeah, so we're through Farm Bureau Insurance, so local Michigan company, Michigan only. We do all kinds of insurance: home, auto, commercial, life insurance, all aspects of it. And our main thing is to be a trusted advisor for our clients. You're not logging online, you're not picking your own coverages. We're having a conversation. We're making sure it's the right coverages for you. And then we're tailoring the policies to make sure it fits what you're looking to cover, what you need to cover, and what fits your lifestyle. It's very customizable to an extent. There are minimums and stuff like that the state requires and, those coverages. But we're real big on the conversation and making sure it's a right fit for the client, not just slapping you on some paper and getting you a proof of insurance so you can drive off on your way. We want to make sure you understand it and it's right for you.
And why you have it. I know, and we use these guys for our business, for my home, auto, my boat, I believe it is too. But you guys have really sat us down and kind of had the conversation of why we're getting this for our particular situation, and then even things like we'll get into later, like umbrella policies. So, as a business owner or homeowner, I know my brother-in-law in Cleveland was just cutting grass, and he lives on a pretty busy street, and a rock flew out. And he says he doesn't think it was from his lawnmower, but a car passing noticed he was cutting the grass as the rock hit his car and sued them, their house for him cutting grass and the rock flying from the lawnmower.
Oh my goodness.
Just little things that you have to be aware of and making sure that you're covered in case someone does try to sue you. So
for sure,
having the right policy for that person is going to be different than any other person that walks in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, standard stuff everyone gets in the policy that everyone needs, but there's a lot of small things that you can tailor and make sure it's right for each individual client, for sure.
Important, especially with younger kids driving and making sure you got the right coverages.
Yeah, and one of the big things that most people miss now is when Michigan did that reform, I think it was 2019, if you have a kid that isn't of driving age in your house, no matter how young they are or any relative, they're supposed to be listed. They need to be listed on your auto insurance policy. You might have saw
the car?
No, you might have saw the news stories. Couple larger companies denied some claims because kids were in the vehicle as passengers, but they weren't listed as a resident relative in the household on the auto policy. So by the paperwork that the state utilizes, it's called a loophole that they're using to deny the claim because you weren't truthful when you signed your application. So we've been going back through, because we inherited a book of business. So we've been trying to get in contact with everyone and learn, do you have younger kids in the household? It doesn't change your price of your policy, but it, closes any loopholes for anyone, the state, any other carriers to mess with you if something happens. So then
you just got to add them to the policy?
Yeah, just name and date of birth. A lot of people think it's insurance companies trying to grab those so we know when they turn 16. Yeah. None of that gets updated until a license shows up in the system.
Because the darn attorneys in a state found the loophole.
Yeah. So I've heard of it. At least I've seen 3 different news stories where the kids were just passengers. And I always say the biggest thing is if you have unlimited PIP medical through the state, just list the kids on there, 1, because it's required, but 2, then they have no reason to give you any trouble if you ever unfortunately have to use that PIP unlimited. They can't say, well, we need to prove that they're, whatever their question might be.
Okay.
If they're listed there, they're there.
It's
protection.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who do you think would be like the ideal candidate for you guys, that's going to use your services?
Yeah, I mean, we're all over, anywhere from, the first-time home buyer that's just moving out of mom and dad's house and they got no idea what they need. I've never paid my own insurance bill, never even seen what my auto insurance looks like, all the way up to retirees. We're on a fixed budget, we're on, a set income. We've got to make sure that, our prices aren't crazy, astronomically high, and then to make sure they're protecting everything they've built over their careers and their lives. So we were kind of all over the map. It's kind of one of the fun things. You talk to, the 22-year-old kid that's just moving out of the house and dad told them, go figure out life. I'll help you, but go figure out life. Yeah. And they don't even know what a deductible is for a collision or comprehensive. So, people that are retired enjoying half the time in Florida, half the time up here. What do we need? Where does it need to be insured? So it keeps you on your toes with, different conversations every day. So we got
anyone who needs insurance.
Yeah, we're pretty much wide open for it, for sure. Yep.
And I know insurance can be transactional sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you guys build that trust, and then how do you guys make it more of a relationship?
Yeah.
At least I could tell you how I feel. It's more of a relationship with you guys than just being, a business transaction.
Yeah. Yep. So we try and personalize everything. The great thing with us is when you call in, you talk to my team sitting in Washington, Michigan.
Yeah.
It's not a call center out of state. You'll talk to the same 3 people almost every time. You get to know them. You get to like them. You get to understand what their day's like, how they sound on the phone. And it's the same thing for us with our customers and clients as well. Mm-hmm. You get to know them. You get to know about their families. When we sign up a client, we ask a lot of questions about the family, goals, because we want to make sure we're structuring it, a lot like you guys do, to make sure we're hitting what they need. So we learn a lot about them, about their kids, where they're at, what they're up to. So we like to keep it, personal and get to know you, so that you understand that it's not just a log on to a website or a call center, that, we're here locally, we're people, we deal with the same stuff. Yeah, we understand what's going on in Michigan, whether it's car insurance, home insurance, we're experiencing it with you as well. So we like to keep it personal. I do annual reviews with any client that wants to. I'm available to talk. It's not my name's on the piece of paper. I'm around. Yeah. So I like to call at least annually, make sure we're still accurate, up to date, see if anything big has changed in your life. Any new, have you added to the house? Have you had a kid? Stuff
what
like
are
that.
some of the reasons to get back? Let's say in between the annual calls, what's some of the reasons to maybe call your agency in the meantime?
Yeah.
Obviously, probably like new baby, someone got married.
Yep. Marriage, new baby, obviously new car, you're going to be calling us. We'll get a lot of people that will call if they're, maybe you're searching for a house. Want to get an idea of what does the home insurance look like over there? Can we get an estimate, that kind of stuff. If you remodel your house, we want to update the estimated rebuilding cost on your home to make sure it's fully insured for, that addition you just put on, that new kitchen.
A lot of people probably forget about that, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And especially if you stay with the same carrier for a long time, if you don't call in, you're going to get those incremental small increases that are built in. But if you're going to throw a $50,000, $100,000 addition onto a house, it's going to take a few years to make sure that's built into the cost estimator. So those are a lot of the main things. A lot of people don't ever call in. They never want to do a review or anything like that. The biggest thing for the reviews is just making sure it's still accurate for you, because the worst thing is just being undercovered because we didn't touch base. Whether it's a new car or a new house, we want to make sure it's accurate and up to date for you. Life insurance, it's always good to review that, like you mentioned. Whether it's beneficiaries, life changes, things happen. One of the major things, divorce. if you unfortunately get divorced, you got to update that paperwork. I can't tell you how many times we'll go through stuff and I'll be like, hey, is so-and-so still the beneficiary? No, I'm not married anymore. I'm like, all right, we need to get that changed because heaven forbid something happens. She gets the check or he gets the check. It's in legal documentation. You know, small stuff like that, you know, you're going through a big life event and you're not thinking about that thing in the background. You know, that's there to protect you and the family, but it's a very important thing to make sure you keep updated.
Speaking of the beneficiary, early in my career, client never told us about a life insurance policy they had. This particular client passed away, and on that life insurance policy, the ex-spouse got it. Not the current spouse, the ex-spouse. Can you imagine how mad that person would be knowing that their ex-spouse is getting this amount of money? And it was a sizable amount. It was like a $450,000 check.
Oh my goodness.
And we knew nothing about it. The current spouse came to us afterwards and like, hey, I believe I'm supposed to get this life insurance. And I'm like, unfortunately, no. It was never changed.
Gotta go talk to the ex.
Yeah, go talk to the ex on that one. And I'm sure the ex is going to be like, man, I didn't realize my ex-spouse still liked me that much to leave me on as a beneficiary. But yeah, those little things, new baby, add them to the insurance policy. Divorce, you know, change of address, anything like that, anything that just
change
needs
of
to be
address
changed.
is a big one, especially for people that are renters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get that a lot and be like, all right, we'll get a call randomly and they're like, all right, I'm adding this car, blah, blah, blah. And we'll say, okay, address is, and they're like, I haven't lived there in X amount of time. We're like, all right, we got to update that for you. But it's, you know, you just, one of those things you just don't think about. If you're not moving your home, you're not thinking to change your address on your auto, but it depends where you're living is how auto rates and how claims are paid out. So it's important to update just a simple thing like that. Yeah.
So let's say for a lot of our clients' children, because most of our clients are probably near retirement or in retirement. So let's say it's their children or even grandchildren. And let's say they're moving out of their parents' house and they're going to rent for the first time. How many people do you think actually have renter's insurance? Very few, or is there more than I think?
I would say it's getting to be more because more apartment complexes are requiring to show proof. A lot of the apartment complexes will have, places they recommend you can go to. And a lot of it's a liability policy. They just want to make sure you have liability coverage if someone gets hurt at your apartment.
Can they come through you guys for that?
100%. Okay. Yeah, we do renters policies. We want to make sure you have the liability aspect, but also to cover the furniture and stuff inside that apartment complex. If, heaven forbid, your neighbor does something and damages, the rest of the building, you got to make sure you got coverage for your contents, whether, it's 20 grand, 50 grand, whatever it might be. And then it bundles with your auto too, because once you're out of mom and dad's house, you technically need your own auto policy. You can't be on mom and dad's anymore. So you bundle it together, make sure you got the right coverages for everything, and, start learning what mom and dad have been telling you got to learn for X amount of time, warning you about. So,
well, it's funny because my daughter bought her first house last year. And when I had her reach out to you for insurance on her house and her car, because she bought a new car, I believe you told her, technically you can't be on your dad's insurance policy anymore. So now you got to have your own.
Yep.
And she was like, darn, what did I call him?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but if you didn't, that could have been one of the loopholes that the attorneys get through. Yep. And next thing you know, she's responsible for that.
For sure. Yep.
Wow. So when you look back at your office, and I think you might have kind of answered this already, what are you most proud of? Like, proud of what you built, proud of, how well they're doing right now?
I would say proud of what we built as a team. We've come a long way. The stuff we've put in place and the team we've put in place, it's awesome. The office won Blue Ribbon of Excellence for the Southeast region last year. So that was a huge honor. I've seen a couple of my mentors win it. So it was really cool for our team to be recognized for it as an office. And I think it's, to me, I go to the office almost every day. A lot of guys like to work from home and they're like, why? I was like, I just enjoy being there. It's the people, it's a good atmosphere to be in. And I'm proud that, I get to go there every day and I don't dread it in the morning. Then I get up and go. So definitely proud of what we've built, what we're still building, trying to grow. And then just seeing the team grow as well, in their personal lives is probably the most fun. Work success is great, but seeing them enjoying life outside of the office, watching, one employee's kids go to college, chasing a soccer scholarship. My other employee team member having her first baby, having her second one here and, coming
That's
up.
important.
So yeah, it's awesome to see, being invited to their weddings, feeling more like a friend than a coworker has been, super rewarding for me, because that was one of my goals, was to never feel like it was that I was just going to work. I wanted to feel like I was going to hang out with friends and accomplish something really cool.
Well, that shows a lot about you as a business owner too, that you're not looking at it as a business. You're looking at it about, seeing them not only flourish at work, but flourish outside of work. And I think if you're that person who's working from home, you're not building the camaraderie, the culture, and they have more respect for you because you don't have to be there, but you are there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a time that you need to work from home, get some stuff done, but I just love getting in there and, lack of better terms, grinding out with the team every day, hearing their calls, and then, hearing what they're the good, the bad of the day. I feel like it's the only way you can learn how you can help them build and grow, and how you can grow your business more successful.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of the things I want to ask you here, and I'm going to get to a rapid fire in a minute, though.
Yeah.
But for clients approaching retirement, because that's where most of our clients kind of fall into that gap, and that are going to be listening to this. How should their insurance needs change? And I know we said for different things like buying a new car or anything else, but is there anything on their end, since they're transitioning out of work and more into retirement mode?
Yeah. So, a couple things you're going to want to update on the auto policy. You get to switch to a low mileage, pleasure class now. You're not going to the office every day. That'll help your rates a little bit. One of the main things they're going to want to look at, though, is their liability protections, their umbrella policies. You've built your assets, your wealth over the years, the stuff you guys are helping them manage and grow. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's protected. Heaven forbid you're in a car accident, you're at fault, and you're getting sued, which billboards everywhere. They're going to try. Having that umbrella policy in there is an extra layer of protection to make sure they can't come after equity in the home, cash assets, whatever it might be. Some people think, if I have an umbrella, that means they can come after more. If you have the umbrella, that's going to protect more for you from them coming at, garnishing, anything from you.
Or like a certain dollar amount. Let's say someone has $2 million. I have my home that's $500,000-$600,000, and I've got another $1.5 or $2 million in assets, IRAs, 401ks, whatever. Is there like a formula that they should have, or? Yeah,
you can go kind of based on that. Equity in the home plus your liquid assets and retirement assets as a good standard of it. So, that example right around $2 million, we'd probably be looking at like your standard auto and home policy, and then probably a $2 million umbrella too.
Okay.
Just to make sure, it's probably off the top of my head under $500 a year. I call it, it's pretty cheap to have a lawyer on retainer. It's going to cost you way more than that if you get sued to have that first phone call for a defense attorney. So that's kind of, an easy baseline of it. We actually use a full risk assessment calculator that will ask you a bunch of questions like that, equity in the home, what you're at, and, that spits out, what the suggestion amount is, but that's an easy way to kind of figure it out. Like, if I got $500,000 in equity and $1.5 million in assets, should probably look at a $2 million umbrella for sure. And it's going to be an additional discount on your auto policy for throwing, an umbrella over the top. So
you get a little bit of a discount there, but you get peace of mind as well.
100%. I'd rather, have peace of mind for $500 a year than if everything I built could disappear because of one accident. So
and if someone who has saved 1.5 or 2 million, it's not like they can't afford that extra $500 for the year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an investment.
Yes, 100%.
A great investment, made at the right time.
The choices you're going to make for them are going to cover that anyways, and no problem.
Absolutely.
So, definitely, skimping on coverage to save, a couple $100 a year. never recommend it. We get a lot of people that are, everyone's looking to save. How can I, save on my auto? I always say, as long as you have the right coverages in place, go wherever the best price is. I'll never tell a client to stay with us if we're more and it's the same coverages. But, you start getting quotes and they're way less. Let's confirm that the coverages are still the same. Because most people don't know what to look for every day. They're not staring at it like I am every day or my team is. So, we just want to make sure that you're properly covered wherever it is. We get a lot of people that come to us. We're not a better price. We're the same coverages and it's the recommended coverages. Stay where you're at. If you're happy with it, stay where you're at. I'm never going to tell someone to change just because.
Do you guys evaluate that every once in a while, like every couple of years? Or is someone in that same policy for the most part for like 3, 4, 5 years, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Or what do you recommend them to do?
I would say check it anytime you want, shop it around. For clients of ours, take our policies and have someone tell them, I want this exact coverage, because we've already gone through everything. We've made sure it's the right coverage for you.
Okay.
If they come back with anything different, send it back. I want these coverages. Because if they're sending you something back, they're trying to win you on price, not on coverage at that point. So, even when we quote against other people, if, we'll send what our recommendations are first. If price is better than what they have and our coverage is better, great. If our price is a little bit more, we want to show you this is what we're recommending for you. This is what you should have. This is what you currently have. Let's have a discussion of what the gap is, and you should close it, but you have to ultimately, the customer and client have to understand that and want to close that gap.
I understand price is important, but it's the value.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, I could pay $300 less a month for this type of insurance, but if I'm going to end up paying out way more than that if I get in a car accident or anything else, what kind of value am I getting from anything that I'm going to do? I always say, what's the pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Going back to like the first thing you learn in school, what are the pros and cons of anything that I do? What are the pros and cons of this insurance policy compared to the one that I have over here or potentially you could get?
Yep.
And what's the value, right? Then it's easy to make that decision.
Absolutely. And
once it's in black and white.
Sometimes closing that gap can be $100 a year. It's not a lot. A lot of times it's not a ton to close the gap. And even if you're going back to your current carrier and asking them to close the gap for you, do it. If there's a gap, close it. Because as soon as you leave it open, that's when something happens.
Well, what are some of the things like that should be in the policy that we don't think about, like whether it's jewelry or anything at home?
Yeah, for sure. So on your home policy, with Farm Bureau, we can add jewelry to it, and that covers like mysterious disappearance, losing it in the lake, losing it on vacation, those kind of items, those kinds of situations. So that's an important one. A lot of people don't have the wedding rings insured, stuff like that. Super simple stuff. Another just peace of mind thing. Seen it happen a couple times with people losing them in a lake.
I can imagine.
Stuff like that. Auto insurance is definitely the kids on the policy if you got kids at home. Just making sure you got the right household members listed, coverages on that. Some of the random things would be, if you got a riding lawnmower insured on your home, there's certain policy coverages don't apply to riding lawnmowers.
I could speak to that. My father-in-law, this was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. He may be listening. He was driving his John Deere in the front yard in Lake Orion and said he felt something get warm all of a sudden. He was like, wow, what the heck happened? It didn't seem like it was this hot a second ago. The whole back of the engine on the rider was on fire. And he had to jump off real quick. Yeah. Now, it just ruined the rider, but he had it listed on his insurance policy, which ended up being covered.
Yeah. If it's not listed, there's a good chance it wouldn't have been covered.
One of them could be a mess.
One of the big ones is water backup. So like sub pump or sewer backup. A lot of people think that's just baked into your normal homeowner's policy, but it's not.
Really?
Most carriers, it's a separate endorsement you need to add. So if you got a finished basement, stuff in the basement, you want to make sure you got enough coverage to, at a minimum, pay for the mitigation to dry it out, clean it out. And then look at, what do I have down there? How is it built out? Do I need, how much do I need to re-drywall halfway up? It happened to me. Water heater went, had no idea, newly married. We didn't do laundry every 2 days like we do now with a kid. Went down in the basement one day and just heard the splash and no idea how long in my head, I'm like, when was the last time we were down here? And, it was right after my roommates had moved out. So it was the first time I had my own basement, had just set up my couch, my TV, my man cave, start fresh. Had to get it all drywall halfway up. But luckily, my previous agent, had asked me, what do you got down there? And so I got a bunch of stuff down there now. So luckily it was covered. But, that's a big one. We had all those floodings a couple years ago.
Yeah.
People refer to them as flooding. But, that's just water backup. And if you don't have the endorsement on there, there's no coverage for it. It's not technically a flood. Flood is over the doorstep. Anything that comes out of the ground is a water backup sewer issue.
So sub pump's just not automatically on like a light or an insurance
Not necessarily. Some carriers will put it on there automatically. We typically quote, if you got a basement, we're showing you a proposal with some sort of coverage on there. And then we're finding out exactly how nice is the basement? What do you got down there? To make sure it's a sufficient amount and that you agree that you want at least that coverage. It's one of the most important ones for sure.
All right. And this is going to lead us to our next question because this might even be on here, but actually it's one of the first ones. I didn't even look at it, but am I covered? Okay. Mm-hmm. So tree falls on my house during a storm. Am I covered?
Yes.
Basement floods after a major rainstorm, is that normally covered by homeowner's insurance policy? And you said no.
Only if there's an endorsement.
Okay. A guest slips near my pool, gets injured, and sues me. Where would that protection come from?
Homeowner's liability.
Okay.
Or umbrella.
Or umbrella policy. Okay. Yep. So especially if someone has like a pool in their yard or a trampoline, they need to have extra coverage.
Yeah. Every homeowner's policy is going to have a liability limit in it. You'll see, 100,000 up to $1 million, right? In your basic homeowner's policy. We don't propose anything under $500,000. And then we kind of build from there, with the umbrella or bumping it up to $1 million in coverage, just right into the home policy. And it's a couple bucks.
I was going to say, do you see a huge increase?
Now, liability on the home is, probably $10 a year to go up to $1 million. It's not much at all. Mm-hmm.
And the insurance company, this is what people don't understand. The insurance companies have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. They have this figured out. Yeah. People ask me, like, how can this insurance company do it? They know exactly how many claims they're going to pay, compared to how many people will never have a claim. And the insurance companies are very smart.
Yeah.
They're not losing a ton of business here. They're making money.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but when we talk about like 2008, I think there was like 348 banks that went out of business.
Yeah.
And people assume the same thing happened with insurance companies. I'm like, there's not one insurance company that went out of business in 2008.
Nope. Not from what happened in 08 for sure.
No.
Nope. No, everybo's got you got to carry a certain amount of reserves. It's got to be reported to the state. We all get ranked every year. It's well
state comes
tracked.
In one unannounced, I believe it is.
Yep.
One is announced.
Yeah. And all the rates have to be approved by the state. Everything gets submitted every year. Corporate has to submit them to the state for review. Every carrier has to. We don't get to just pick what we want to charge. That's one of the funny misconceptions. You raise my rates. I didn't personally. Corporate might have, but it's all, calculated based on what is going on, what's in the industry, what's changed in the industry. Been a lot of change in homeowners policies over the last couple of years. We're luckily, as a Michigan company, we're not impacted by out-of-state disasters as often, but the industry as a whole changes because of it. Yeah. So we've seen some different changes on the homeowners policies over the last couple of years.
Was it hurricanes down in Florida or something?
A lot of roofing changes, how roofs are handled, a lot of actual cash value payments, accounting for depreciation and age and, condition, much like you would get with a car.
Okay.
Before it was, if you had to replace a roof, you were getting a brand new full price roof. Unfortunately, roofing companies took severe advantage of it and, kind of ruined it for homeowners, to be honest. They're still trying to. I get them
flooded with calls.
I just had a client come in with 3 mailers and 3 door-to-door visits in a week from a hailstorm that had pea-sized hail that is not going to damage good quality roofing material. And also the roofing material is not as good as it used to be. some of those 30, 50-year roofs that were put on 10 years ago, you're going to get a crew that slaps one up in a day. And are you as confident in it as you were that one that took 2 or 3 days and they really took care of it? So, they're storm chasing. They got 12 months to make a claim. So month 11, we see a lot of new flyers coming in, new calls coming in, new inquiries. So just because the roofer says you got damage, make the claim, have us come out and do an adjustment, an assessment, have us check it out. We're not in the business of trying to make money off of you, and we're not in the business of denying the claim either. There's nothing more that my adjusters hate than denying a claim, because then they're the bad guy.
Sure.
And they don't want to be the bad guy. But we also don't want someone taking advantage of you. Don't sign anything from a roofer when they come out and do an inspection. A lot of hidden agreements if you're not reading through them, where you agree to do something with them, or pay, whatever it might be. So just be careful who's coming to your door and telling you got roof damage.
If something happens like that, call the insurance company.
Yeah,
first.
There's no knock against you for making a claim. The only time claims may count against you is if there's a payout, and they don't always do. There's different parameters and things like that, but to have our team come out and assess and make sure, there's actual damage that needs to be repaired. They're certified. They've taken courses. They're experts in hail detection. I've never learned so much about hail and how you can tell how long it's been than talking with an adjuster for 20 minutes.
I bet.
Those guys know everything. They have to.
Especially with these roofers just bombarding the market right now with these flyers and coming house to house, like you said.
And some carriers are a little more lenient in it, so the neighbor gets the roof, and the next, your client assumes they should get one as well, when it might not be better for them to get a new roof.
No.
So it's a tough one.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So am I covered if I lend my car to a friend and they cause an accident? Whose insurance?
So you would be covered. Yes. It's called permissive use. So you're giving them use.
Car.
Yep. It could default back to yours or theirs. Theirs could cover it. A lot of it depends on the language. Now, if they don't have insurance or they're not licensed, especially if they're not licensed, make sure your buddy's got the license. Yeah. If he's got a suspended license or anything like that, it can definitely void coverage for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's called permissive use. Same thing if you have a family member visiting from out of town for a week or two, they can drive your car. You don't have to call them, put them on the policy. It's permissive use.
But if they're not licensed for whatever reason, they don't have a license now. Personally, I'm going to be responsible for that.
Because they're not a legal driver at that point. Yep.
Now, would that be where the personal umbrella comes into place, or would that even be void?
That would be even void too, because it's it's in because an umbrella is not going to cover you for an active crime.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So don't loan your car to anyone.
Yeah, if you got a buddy in a tight spot and suspended license, anything like that, don't risk it. Uber's great.
Don't let your 15-year-old drive without a permit.
Yeah, agreed.
Wow. All right. I lose an expensive piece of jewelry while traveling. Is it automatically covered?
Not automatically.
Okay. My dog bites someone, even though my dog has never been aggressive before. What happens?
It's a liability coverage. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it can be claimed. Those do show up on reports. So if it's happened multiple times, a lot of carriers won't even take you for a homeowner's policy.
Well, how about this? My dog runs out of my yard into a neighbor's house. I'm not covered anymore, right? Would that go under a neighbor's policy, or how would that happen?
You would still be responsible for it. It's your dog.
Okay.
Yep.
But personally responsible, since it didn't happen at my house, right?
Yeah, it would. Your liability would actually extend.
Oh, would it?
Yep.
Okay.
I had a buddy collision on a softball field. Was sued, and his homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
It's general liability extends.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's not a criminal act. Yep.
All right. We moved into our house in Clarkston, and couldn't find our dog. And 2 doors down from us, our neighbor came walking over. They go, "Is this your dog?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, we opened the door, he ran into the house, he grabbed a loaf of bread off our table, ran upstairs to the second floor, laid in their bed, and ate their loaf of bread.
No way.
And they're like, "We can't get him out of our bed." We're like, "Okay, we'll come over and apologize." Yeah,
what a way to meet the new neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. I begin using my personal vehicle for a side business, especially now with Uber and everything else, or delivery work. Do I need to tell my agent?
Yeah. Yep, definitely. If you're doing DoorDash, Uber, a lot of insurance companies have gotten more lenient with it because it's become so popular for people now. But definitely notify your agent for sure.
Okay.
There's riders, endorsements to put on the policy to make sure.
So anytime they're using it for work.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's
Even like speaking of like a roofer using his personal vehicle to go give an estimate on a job site.
Yeah, it should be noted for
Okay.
sure. A lot of times, if your company requires you to use your personal vehicle, they have some stuff they'll have as well. But yeah, if you're a business owner and you're using your personal vehicle, we definitely want to make sure we write you a business auto policy to cover you properly.
Okay.
Just to avoid any issues of, hey, I was driving for work when this happened.
Yeah.
No, it's not a personal vehicle. It's a work vehicle. If it's titled to your business, definitely on a work policy.
Okay.
Some people put their vehicles titled to a business on a personal policy. Keep them separate. It also keeps your liability separate. Your business can be sued, not you personally. Yeah. Yep. Separate the risk.
That's important.
Yeah.
As a business owner.
For sure.
All right, rapid fire.
Okay.
All right, before we finish here. Morning person or night owl?
Ooh, now I'm a night owl. I used to be a morning person, but my wife and my son are night owls, so they've kind of
changed you.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I'll be honest. I like being a morning guy, so my goal is to get back to my morning routine. Might just have to stretch the day a little bit and become a little bit of both, but willing to do it for the wife and my son.
Have to.
So yeah,
especially when you're working.
Yeah.
Coffee, energy drink, or neither?
Both. I'm a little bit of both. Coffee in the morning usually. Probably a couple days a week.
Black, or do you put milk and cream in it?
Creamer, or I'll mix my protein in it in the morning. Make sure I get my breakfast shake in it.
Which is becoming more and more popular. All these little coffee shops offering protein.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, this one's going to be easy. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I would think it's easy. But golf course, lake, or beach?
Probably the golf course.
Okay. Favorite local restaurant?
Ooh. Lately, we've been doing the brewery on Hayes. It's been my birthday, every year birthday meal the last couple of years. So
it's a good place.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Dream vacation destination?
Ooh. I'd have to say Italy.
All right.
Going to see Italy would be going to see.
So that's on the bucket list?
Yeah, going back to San Marino, see where my grandpa was born. And I had one cousin that's recently done it, and he said it was incredible. So
nice.
Now that Australia was checked off the list, I think Italy would be the next one.
Italy would be nice. Nice. I like that. Favorite sports team?
Probably overall be the Detroit Red Wings.
Okay.
Been a Red Wings fan since I was a kid. Always follow them. Season ticket holder with my dad. So
are you excited about the changes?
I'm interested to see it. It's going to be a weird season, I feel like.
Yeah.
Depending what they do in the offseason here.
What do you think they're going to do with the captain, with Dylan?
I don't think he definitely doesn't get the C back.
Yeah. Think he will be back, or?
I don't know. Now that Stevie stepped aside, I don't know what the plan, if that was part of the reason he did, so they would keep him. But I just don't know how he comes back in that locker room and has any trust from his teammates.
Absolutely, I agree.
The new NHL is different than it used to be. But yeah, I don't know how. It'd be tough as a player to take anything he said seriously at this point.
I agree. I agree.
It's weird.
What is currently on your playlist? What kind of music?
I'm a big country guy.
Are you?
A lot of different country. I'm terrible at knowing artists and song, but I can sing along to a lot of stuff.
All right.
And then, oddly enough, I randomly got into like EDM recently. Just more a little upbeat, keep me going. A couple different DJs and stuff like that. Got my son to like a couple of them, so he likes to listen to it. But yeah, I'm all over. My Spotify's everywhere,
Mostly
from
country.
Classic rock, country, rap from when I grew up.
That's how I am.
Yeah, so you go onto my Spotify, it's a strange mix.
Well, speaking of country, my sister sent me over a band. I've never heard of them until she sent it to me. It's called the Red Clay Strays.
Oh.
They're from Alabama.
Okay.
Got to listen to them.
All right.
They are a mixture of rock and country. And he sounds a young guy too, sounds a lot like Elvis.
Oh, wow.
So I almost, when I was listening to it, it's more of a country blues.
Okay.
But they would consider themselves more of a rock band. They think they play more rock than country.
Nice.
Couldn't stop listening to them all weekend. I was like, all right, where are they playing next?
Okay.
And they're playing in Grand Rapids later this year.
Oh, nice. Where at Grand Rapids? Was it
I think
Van Andel?
Van Andel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I got hooked on them. I was on the boat this weekend.
There you go.
Listened to them. I'm like, man, these guys are actually really good.
I'm going to throw them on
Strays.
I'm going to throw them on the playlist. Yeah, for sure.
Finish this sentence. So we're getting towards the end of this. Well, actually, one more. Well, two more, because I forgot. Actually, I'm three more.
All right.
I missed a few. I didn't realize where I was at here. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, man. I'd probably say it was from my grandpa, and it was always love your family and keep your nose to the grindstone. He was a man of very few words, opposite of my dad. Okay. But he wrote that in a letter to me in high school. We did a high school retreat, and grandparents wrote letters, parents, siblings, and he wrote that as like his sign off, and then that letter sits on my dresser. Oddly enough, it's in a laminated sheet, and it sits on my dresser every day.
That's so true.
I pick my my chain from him and my wedding ring off of it every morning.
Wow.
It's kind of my nightly routine. Everything goes right on that, and I pick it up on there. Somehow that's going to be part of my next tattoo when I get it. So I got to figure out a way to incorporate it. And,
that's good advice.
Yeah, it was, from someone who didn't say too much, it was still rings a lot in my head.
Those are the people you have to listen to.
100%.
That don't have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm. Because when they do, it's important.
It's important.
Yes.
Yep. So if you weren't running an insurance agency, what would you be doing right now?
Oh, man. I'd like to say something in the golf industry. Yeah. I don't know what it would be.
I had a feeling that's
that would be the ideal. I did briefly in college try to go that way. And then my boss I was working for was a PGA pro, and he said, if you enjoy golf, don't do it. He said, it's more, he's like, you don't get to play.
Yeah.
So.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think you guys might have to watch out this year. Yeah, I know your foursome is really good, but this guy back here, the engineer of this show, he's pretty good.
Bringing a squad in, huh?
I don't know who his squad is, but his cousin works with us too. And Jason's really good. And,
nice.
And you have Tom and Brandon downstairs who they're good and they really like it. But Enzo he's a lefty too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hockey guys are sneaky good at hockey or at golf.
Yep.
I got a couple cousins that played minor league hockey, and their transition to golf was way too easy in my eyes. So.
And I know, Enzo, did you play minor league hockey too?
No. Just
Okay.
club hockey in college.
Nice.
Club hockey in college, and then Jason played some minor league hockey too.
Awesome.
All right, one of the last ones. Let's finish it with this, I think, too. But finish this sentence. Living your best life means what to you?
To me, it's enjoying the family time. Whether it's, vacationing or just being around the house. Everything we go through during the day, the daily grind, means nothing if you're not enjoying the time at home when you get home. It's hard to shut off. It's definitely hard to shut off the brain and the thoughts, but you got to be present and enjoy it. And I think as my son gets older, the more I realize that and appreciate just how good my dad was at it when I was a kid. You take it for granted.
Yeah.
That's looking back, I'm like, man, how the heck did he get to everything? And I did a lot of stuff. My sister did a lot of stuff. And I can't think of a handful of times my dad missed. And he was just always there, and it's one of the biggest goals is to do that the same way he did.
But does he know how you feel about that?
I think so. We're pretty close. We talk a lot about it. So yeah, he coached everything, did everything, worked his butt off still during the day, and seeing him enjoying retirement is awesome. because he definitely earned it. Him and my mom earned it for sure.
Absolutely.
They babysit a lot, so I don't know how retired they consider themselves, but I think that's more fun for them than.
They're talking about the grandkids on Tuesday when we see them.
Yeah, they had a sleepover last week, so they were busy.
I don't think growing up we realize how much our parents, really have done for us.
No.
And how much they sacrifice.
Yeah.
And two, like even just how much we learn off of our parents. When we're younger, we're like, oh, geez, we gotta hold the flashlight for dad as he's doing something, all right, or helping mom do something. Then afterwards, we realize it hits us. But one of the books I would have you and your wife get to, I think it's called 18 Summers. We start talking about your son is 5. Yeah. It puts things into perspective.
13 left.
13 left. And usually that 13th one is when they're off to college.
Yep.
So it just puts things into perspective like, man. And I think they say you have about another year after the 18, you have the rest of their life, and you take all the time you spend with them for the rest of their life, and it adds up to about a year or a little bit longer because you're only seeing them for, the day of Christmas or whatever, half a day for Christmas or New Year's or different things like that. So
makes sense. Yeah. The numbers are crazy when you see that stuff on social media and stuff, and you're like, wow. Fast.
This past weekend, I had a chance to go help my daughter with doing some home improvement projects, and her fiance, he was out golfing, and so she called me up with a bucket list, or not a bucket list, but a honey-do list, basically. Yeah. And I went over there and spent a couple hours on Saturday, a couple hours on Sunday, and helping her check that off. And I was like, man, it's kind of cool that I'm able to do this. And and not only with my son, I love doing it with, but my daughter, she's willing to do those things. So. That's awesome. If you have a chance to get that book,
18 Summers.
18 Summers it is.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, I enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too. I know our clients will. So if they need to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Office number's 586-221-9013. They'll ring right to the office, ask for me. If I'm not there, just get a message. The team will get a message to me. Phone's always the easiest. That way nothing gets lost in the spam mail or anything like that. Or stop in. We're there every day. Have a Slurpee.
Next to 7-Eleven, 26 Mile in Mound.
Yep.
And then do you guys have your web address?
Oh, yeah. It's www.terenziagency.com.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. Terenziagency.com, or stop by or give them a call.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you. Just a friendly conversation. Make sure everything's looking good.
Yeah, if you guys want a second opinion, buying a new vehicle, buying a new house, not sure if you have enough insurance coverage for your current situation, pick up the phone, give the Terenzi Agency a call, stop in, visit their website, and reach out to them. And at least you're going to get that second opinion. Make sure you're good. And if you're good, they're going to let you know that. And if not, they're going to show you how to fill some of those gaps that you guys might have. So appreciate you guys listening to this week's show, Live Your Best Life podcast. Look forward to having you guys on next week's show. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode sparked something in you or made you realize it's time to stop guessing and start planning, we'd love to meet with you. No matter where you are, no matter when you start, you deserve to live your best life. We'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends and your family. Remember, living your best life isn't a destination, it's a decision. And it's a decision that you get to choose. Until next time, stay well, stay informed, and keep living boldly.
Investment advisory services offered through Strategic Wealth Advisors Group, Incorporated, a Securities and Exchange Commission registered investment advisor. Content contained herein is for informational purpose only and is not intended and should not be construed as personalized investment advice or an offer for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided may be obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness.